All right. First problem, we are going to factor to solve. What does it have to equal before we get started?
0.
0. So what should I do?
Subtract 5.
Subtract 5. And it's a trinomial. There's 3 pieces. There's no number in front of the x squared, so it's not a slide divide. It's not a box. How are we going to factor in?
Negative a and positive 7.
Okay, so someone explain what Michael did. Perfect. Okay, so we were looking for what multiplied to the last number but added to the middle number. And negative 8 and positive 7 are the numbers that do that.
And you don't even need to write it out because since there's nothing in front of the x, you know that it's just the opposite. So it's 8
Yeah.
and 7.
Okay, so the answers are positive 8 and negative 7. Okay, now technically if it says factor to solve with the equation, like up here it says solve by factoring, technically you do have to write it because of the instructions.
Well, right.
So you don't skip that step because that's part of showing what the instructions asked for. If they just said solve and you did it in your head, that's fine, but they didn't say solve, they said solve by factoring. So the factoring work is important. Okay, let's look at number 5. What should we do with number 5? Now, if we move x squared, we're going to have a negative x squared, which I mentioned in the notes. What did I say in the notes? To avoid that, because it makes the problem more difficult than is necessary. So instead of minusing this over, we're going to take these two things and we're going to minus them to the left side. So I'm going to say x squared, I'll subtract the 8x over, and I'll add the 15 over and make it equal 0. So again, making it equal 0 is my first step. I have to do that because I want to be able to use the zero product property. There's no such thing as the product property of the number 2 because there are infinitely many ways to find numbers that multiply to 2. There's like 1 times 2, but then there's all the decimal possibilities. So we don't want to do any number because there's so many different ways to multiply to that. We want to use 0 because it's going to be 0 times something, and that's predictable. All right, so we are looking for 2 numbers that multiply to 15 and add to negative 8. Okay, so multiply to 15, add to negative 8, negative 5, negative 3. And what are the solutions? Positive 5, positive 3. So you'll notice sometimes I write my answers as 2 different answers with a comma in between. Sometimes I'll write x equals twice. Doesn't matter how you write it. Either way is fine. Let's do number 7. What do I need to do?
When I was in Math 2 honors, I remember that she told us to write it in like those sort of brackety things. Like your solutions in like a bracket.
She does a lot of her solutions, like she writes them formally. And most, you're not going to see it that way usually. You might see it sometimes on a state exam, but generally not. It's not until college that professors really start to write things like that. So you're writing like the solution set is this, and it's you can, but it's not necessary.
Right. Wait, how do you know who my math teacher was?
I assumed it was Miss Lopez, but
yeah, it was.
Yeah. There's only one Math 2 teacher here.
Oh.
I'm a good guesser.
Okay.
When there's only one option, I can usually figure it out. Yeah. All right. So what should we do for number 7? Add the 2x. Okay. And then what else should I do? Add the 7. Okay. So x squared minus 10x plus 16 equals 0. Negative 8, negative 2. What a good time. Isn't it just relaxing? All I need to have a good day is just some math. No? Okay. Other side of the page. What happens on this side?
Oh, we start having to do the slide and divide thing.
Yeah, so we still have a trinomial. Like, I'm still going to add the 5 over, make it equal 0. But once I do that, I can see that the trinomial is a little bit more complicated than it was on the previous page. So here we have a number in front of the x squared. That number is not a GCF. You cannot divide it out because 14 is not divisible by 3. So the 3 has to stay. That means it's a slide divide problem or it's a box problem, whatever your preference. Do you guys have a preference? Slide divide. First period prefers box. When I said, do you guys have a preference? The whole room was like, box, do the box.
I have switched to the slide and divide so I can do it myself.
That's fair. I think that's fair, yeah. All right, so if we were to get in a fight, this class would be all about slide divide. The other class would be about box, and you guys would like duke it out.
Exactly.
Okay. Like Fight Club. Like the movie Fight Club. Have you guys seen it? It's going to be like that.
That is not like Fight Club.
You spoiled it. I was pretty excited thinking about people like beating each other up over how to do math. All right, multiplying to 45, adding to negative 14.
Negative 5 and negative 9.
Negative 5, negative 9.
And you need to divide by the 3 that you brought over, so that turns into x minus 3, 3x minus 5. Then you set them both equal to 0, so your answers are 3 and 5 over 3.
So I just wrote minus 5 and minus 9. What do I do next? That was very fast. I got none of that. Okay, what is divide by 3? Okay, perfect. Okay, so bottoms up with that one, 3x minus 5, because that fraction did not simplify. So we bottoms up with that one. 9 divided by 3 is 3, so we're just going to write x minus 3 for this one. And the solution for this one is easy. That's 3. What about this solution?
That's going to be 5 over 3.
Okay, 5/3. So we have to undo each operation. So positive 5 divide by 3. So 5/3. So this answer comes from the zero product property. It's always going to give you a fraction if you have a number in front of x. And if you don't remember how to get that fraction, it's that we took 3x minus 5 and we set it equal to 0. And so the first thing we do is add the 5 to the other side. And then the second thing we do is divide the 3 over to the other side. And that's how we made it become a fraction. So if you need to show the work on that because you can't remember where the fraction comes from, you can show your work. Or if you just want to memorize that it's opposite sign of this divided by that, then you can just memorize that's how it goes. Okay. Should we do some more problems? Are you feeling comfortable? How's your brain? Brains are good? Okay. So we have done 4 problems together. I want you to do 6 more, 3 on the front, 3 on the back. It doesn't matter which ones. So 6 more problems, 3 and 3. The answer key is in the back. And then after that, we're going to review the quadratic formula.
Yes! Can I sing this song again?
No. No. Yeah, sorry. Because then I got to choose a different gas station. It's going to be awkward. You know what I'm saying? All right. So go ahead and get started. I'm going to put some music on.